live in L.A. This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. The instigator at our network, Rob Parker. In a few minutes, Joy Taylor is joining me. Hour one flew by. Tomorrow, Patriots and the Colts, which is a great Thursday night game. Two shocking things in sports in 15 minutes. Very rarely am I shocked. Two things. One you could make money on shocked me, and I'll have that coming up. So I've said this for years and years and years. Anybody that's listened to this show for any duration, I root for interesting. That's what I root for. I root for interesting. So I root for traditional powers. You know, I think college football is better if Ohio State's playing on a big stage. Nothing against TCU, nothing against, Army, Navy, nothing against the other programs in America, nothing against Oklahoma State. I like interesting. I like A-Rod to the Yankees. I like Brett Favre reemerging against rival Minnesota. I like T.O. to the Cowboys. I like drama. I like interesting. Okay? So LeBron last night debuts for the Lakers. It's only a preseason game, but if you're betting against this working, it's going to be the most interesting thing in the NBA this year. Listen, a lot of people are paralyzed with wins. How many are they going to win? They won't win the title. They won't win the Western Conference. Don't get paralyzed by that. The Warriors now, they don't even care about regular season wins. Nobody remembers regular season wins in the NBA. It doesn't matter. Are you changing a city? Are you changing a team? Are you changing a culture? Are you changing the league? This is the number one player on the number one brand. It's going to be fascinating. This is A-Rod to the Yankees. It's Harbaugh to Michigan on steroids. It's A-Rod to the Yankees on steroids. It's Favre to the Vikings on steroids. It's T.O. to the Cowboys on steroids because LeBron's better than all those guys. So Doug Gottlieb said it yesterday. We were all kind of wondering, is L.A. going to accept him? Is L.A. freaking out? And Gottlieb had this to say.
I think most Laker fans are so happy LeBron's here. We're like, man, we got hope. 99% of Laker fans are fired up because they know LeBron gives them hope this year, and then somebody else is coming next year or maybe mid-year in a trade.
He was right. Sold out. Pictures everywhere. Palpable buzz for a preseason game. And here's the other thing. And I know this is not a popular thing to say, but there's a couple of places in New York where stars are most comfortable. New York and L.A. They just are. If you're a star in Milwaukee, people stare at you. If you're a star in Orlando, you feel like a fish out of water. Like, this is where fish belong in the water. Stars in New York and L.A. are amongst other stars. This is a very comfortable town for celebrities. They don't get gawked at. It's not a mob scene. That's why players like coming here. LeBron is going to fit in Los Angeles. It's going to be interesting. He's going to be comfortable. And with that, I bring on the FS1 instigator, Rob Parker, on the show, a college professor at USC.
Good morning, Joy. Good morning, Colin. What's up?
What is going on? So it must be hard for you, because you've been critical, unfortunately, of LeBron through the years. It must be hard for you to stomach that sellout crowd and that seamless offense last night.
Not at all. I mean, the only reason it was a sellout is these are the real fans who won't be able to get into the regular season games. So they had to go to this game because the rich people aren't willing or don't want to go see this. You know this. You don't watch a preseason NBA game unless somebody gave you the tickets or you just happen to come across them. That's the only way you would go to that.
So, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fascinating, right?
I'm not buying all that. I think it's going to wind up being a bad sitcom, Colin. That's what I think will eventually happen. You've heard of eight is enough. You remember that?
Yeah, as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be not enough. And this is going to be a situation where people at first will be all in, thinking that something's happening here and they're going to win the Western Conference and they're going to go to the NBA Finals. And then those kids aren't ready, and those cast-offs that they signed as well with LeBron aren't working out, and then they'll go, oh, LeBron doesn't have anybody, and then the whole narrative will be about, A, he doesn't have anybody, so you can't blame him that they were the 7th or 8th seed in the Western Conference. And then, who's coming next year? Who are we going to get? Everybody keeps talking about this like it's automatic. Colin, nobody wants to play with LeBron. I keep waiting for somebody to tell me, name the guy. All the new guys, even Jimmy Butler says, I want out of Minnesota, right? Mm-hmm. He could have named any team he wanted to. He said he wanted to come to L.A., but to the Clippers. He wanted to go to Brooklyn. He wanted to go to New York, to the Knicks.
So you don't think players want to play with him?
I just don't see it. Where's the evidence? Even when LeBron was in Cleveland with the free agency the first time before he went to Miami,
yeah,
he was trying to get guys to come to Cleveland with him. People should want to play with the greatest player on the planet. I don't care where it is. Oh, it's Cleveland. Who wants to be there and all this? Dude, it's 6 months out of your life, and you're on the road for half of those games. So it's not really the place. It's about who the guy is.
You don't think this is going to work? You think it's going to be a 37-win team?
43. I'm not there.
Wow.
43. Mark it down. It's not going to be 50 like everybody. I've got a couple chicken wing bets with friends. They got 53 wins. Are you kidding me? That's taking candy from a baby.
They won 35 last year. If LeBron wasn't here, I would argue they'd win 41, 42 without him, just because the young players would be healthier and better.
I just think the Western Conference. I saw this guy, LeBron. Did he not struggle last year against the Pacers and Oladipo?
Yeah, but
there was a struggle there. Was it a struggle against Boston?
He won 7 games.
No, I got it, but it's a struggle without their two best players. All I'm saying is the Western Conference is much better than what LeBron's been playing against over the last decade. That's all.
Couple of NFL things. Jason Garrett, I've said this before, is Jerry's not going to replace him. There's a book out by Gary Myers called How About Them Cowboys, and Jerry doesn't want to replace him. And are you comfortable with that?
You know what? This is like one of it's not everybody thinks it's a mystery. How come Jason Garrett's never on the hot seat? But Colin, this is the reason why. And look at this graphic here.
Okay.
Jerry Jones, he might as well have hired Howdy Doody. I mean, when you look at Jason Garrett on the sidelines, the only thing you can't see are the strings. Because this is all about Jerry Jones. He's coaching the Cowboys. The reason that they haven't won is because he won't go out and get a real football coach, right, that will push back against him, and he's running the Cowboys like a mom-and-pop store. He won't get the NFL people to make the decisions. That's why they are where they are. They're no longer America's team. They're South America's team because they're always under 500.
Come on.
That's what they are.
So you don't think – you think basically Jason Garrett is essentially a puppet for Jerry?
That's what it's in the book mentioned by Gary Myers, and I buy into that because – They made the playoffs 2 out of the 8 years he's been coach, and you think the Cowboys are any closer to winning a Super Bowl since he's been there?
No, I don't. That's a fair point. I do not.
And then if I were to ask you, what are the Cowboys? What are they? I don't think you could give me that.
No, do the Dallas Cowboys have a what's the word I'm looking for? Do they have they have a brand? Do they have do they have an identity?
Right. Like what? Like you look at teams. Certain teams are defensive. Some teams are offensive.
I would say they're a running back led team, which outside of Sean Alexander in the 2005 Super Bowl, you just don't get to the Super Bowl with a running back led team. In fact, many of the great running backs, Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, LaDainian Tomlinson, they didn't even have playoff wins. Like struggled to win playoff games. Forget the Super Bowl. So it's very funny. Nobody likes the coach in Dallas. A lot of people push back, and a lot of push back on Dak. Would Jerry be comfortable with a great coach and a superstar quarterback?
No, I don't think so. And that was the problem when he had Bill Parcells. You know what I mean? When you have a guy who have a strong take on football and is going to not just listen to the owner because you write the checks. So I think once he decided that he doesn't want a guy like that, I think that's why the Cowboys are in the situation. People can go crazy over the Cowboys all the time, but look at where they are now. They're a bad football team.
They're not great. They're certainly not elite.
And I know they beat the Lions this past week, but that was a given. I mean, after the Lions beat the Patriots, I knew they were going to fall right back into Lionese and go right back to where they were.
Okay, Tom Brady, his beautiful wife yesterday, what a loving couple. She came out yesterday and she said, listen, he loves football so much. I'm going to let him play. And it was very cute. It was actually an amazing moment. Good Morning America, Gisele Bundchen.
Joy, can you pass me a tissue? You got a tissue over there?
I think she's an incredibly cool woman. Here's the moment.
Tom has talked about his retirement. He kind of said, I'll play 5 more years, and you've said some other things. But in the book, you kind of said, what will be, will be.
I never seen someone love something as much as he loves football. And it makes me happy if I say anything in the past is because you have a concern. You know, no one is going to hurt someone I love. You know, you just feel very protective of them. So obviously if someone hurts my children, my husband, anyone I love, I get like a lioness. You know, I want to I get my...
She's very secure in her. I love her. She's the best. She's great. But you don't buy into Brady.
No, I just think that where we are now, and I'm not, he's one of the greatest as far as accomplishments for a quarterback. I give you that. I've always said, Colin, he is a great player. I've never said that. Has he been lucky over his career? Yeah, but the narrative now is like a fairy tale. That's where we are. I'm expecting magic beans and other stuff to come into but the reality of Tom Brady this year is that the Patriots are averaging 9 points less than they did a year ago. They're not the team that everybody's making them out. I know Miami didn't show up. They get that blowout win. Everything is not cured. Miami never got off the bus for that game. But Tom Brady, look at some of these numbers here. They're not good. They've all gone down for Tom Brady. They're 9 points less, which is the biggest drop in the AFC.
It is.
And then you start looking at his completion rate. Tom Brady's 21st in the league.
Okay, but can I push back on this?
Sure.
So his number one receiver, Julian Edelman, has been hurt. They let Nate Solder, left tackle, Dion Lewis, and Danny Amendola go. Wasn't it sort of expected? If you're a football fan, September was going to be bumpy for Tom.
But the only problem is the narrative has always been he doesn't have anybody. He makes anybody. He can get a guy from 7-Eleven who worked on Saturday, played for Tom Brady on Sunday, and catch 2 touchdowns. That's the narrative. Now that he doesn't have some of these weapons that everybody's now saying, well, you can't blame him. This is the LeBron factor. This is where these things keep coming up. For guys that people like and are enamored by, they make every excuse. The bottom line and the fact, Colin, is that Tom Brady hasn't played that well this year. You saw the Lions game. You thought he played well?
No, but I think in life there are reasons and excuses. Dog ate my homework's an excuse. It was on a school bus and it got T-boned. That's a reason you're late for school. I think when you don't have Edelman and you let Dion Lewis, who is really good, go, Danny Amendola go, Belichick, September's always been very much an extension of preseason for Belichick. Is his worst month. I think these things are explained. I think something's going to happen tomorrow night that's going to shock people. Maybe shock people, maybe not. But
what are you predicting? A Colts upset victory?
No, I am predicting that New England will win the division. But I don't think they're as good, by the way, because I don't think they're dynamic enough in the perimeter, and I don't think they have a pass rush. And those will, in the end, they will succumb to those two. I don't think Brady's the issue. By the end of the year,
you believe Tom Brady will win another Super Bowl?
Why does it have to be?
No, I'm asking. That's what
I think he will be in the Super Bowl conversation for the next 2 to 3 years. He'll be in that group of 5 or 6 teams. Yes.
I can't see it. No. Not with the defense and not where Tom Brady's headed. I want you guys to look it up. Google it. Take a look at Brett Favre's 40th when he was 40 years old, his numbers. They're almost equal to Tom Brady when Tom was 40. And look at 41. They fell off the cliff. And that's what's going to happen to Tom Brady ultimately.
USC professor, FS1 instigator, Rob Parker. Congratulations on all your success. By the way, he and Chris Broussard now do a radio show, Fox Sports Radio, every day. What time is it?
4 to 7 Pacific, 7 to 10. It's The Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio, and yes, I'm Oscar. How's that?
That's good. Buy, sell, hold. Okay, 2 things shocked me in sports yesterday. I'll have them both. I'm shocked rarely. That's coming up in Los Angeles. It's The Herd.
Dwayne Haskins leads the Buckeyes into a showdown with the Hoosiers. Indiana, Ohio State, Saturday at 4 Eastern on Fox.